Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know.
I would say, I'm not paying the bill. 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 I'm not paying the bill.
Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc., etc. Dumb as a shit fuck, you know, cringe tour, etc., etc.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. They had a very bad original concept. It was carried out poorly, and the cover-up was one of the worst in the history of cover-ups. Very simple. Bad deal, should have never been thought of. Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Across this country, we've seen this new phenomenon lately, chanted at sporting events and on signs. The phrase is, let's go Brandon.
Let's go Brandon, I agree.
Look, talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, the Title I schools, triple the amount of money we spend for $15 to $45 billion a year. Give every single teacher a raise, an equal raise, getting out of the $60,000 level. Number two, make sure that we bring in to help the teachers deal with the problems that come from home. The problems that come from home, we have one school psychologist for every 1,500 kids in America today. It's crazy. The teachers are and I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. They have every problem coming to them. We have to make sure that every single child does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help, they don't know quite what to do. play the radio. Make sure the make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone. Make sure the kids hear words. A kid coming from a very poor school, a very poor background, will hear 4 million words fewer spoken by the time they get there. There's so much. I'm going to go like the rest of them do, twice over.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts. We're going to seize their yachts. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains. Kleptocracy. Luxury homes and other ill-begotten gains. Accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Who are the kleptocracy? The guys who are the kleptocracy. Kleptocracy. But these are bad guys.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of the Above It All broadcast experience. And I have just realized that I forgot to equip myself with coffee. So, hold the phone.
$7 million for reef fish management. $25 million to combat Asian carp. $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it, and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick, because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family.
That will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts. 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 But these are bad guys.
Testing. Okay, so I got my coffee. I got my fucking coffee. This motherfucking bilb. This goddamn little piece of bilb in the goddamn. The best part of waking up is Folgers in a cup, so I can forgive the pause. This motherfucker, this goddamn Bilb. First of all, Bilb. Second of all, Folgers? Are you kidding me? Folgers? What am I, 70 years old, motherfucker? Goddamn Folgers. You think I'm drinking motherfucking Folgers? What am I, your grandmother? Who the fuck drinks Folgers? Like, below the age of, like, 63. Holy fucking shit. Are you getting ready to retire, motherfucker? You got 1 year left. Oh my god. Motherfucking Folgers. This bottom shelf, like, you know, shit in a can. It's not even a real can. It's a plastic can. When the fuck did they start making plastic cans? Fuck Folgers. I'm talking about the big ones. The big ones are plastic. I guess the smaller Folgers are metal. Fuck you and fuck Folgers. Welcome to the show. This is Above It All. This is the broadcast. Emphasis on broad. Above It All is brought to you by a couple people that give me money on Patreon, PayPal, and Cash App on a frequent basis, as well as those that give me super chats. People have recommended and requested that I activate YouTube memberships. I am considering activating YouTube memberships on this channel, and so if anyone is interested in that, let me know. And you know, so that's a thing I'm thinking about doing this week because I've gotten multiple requests. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Second of all, if you would like to provide to me some cash, I could use some cash. Of course, you know, this is going to be my fundraising vehicle. My birthday present this year is Barack Obama sent me a letter in the mail telling me that I'm going to lose my health insurance in 3 weeks. And so I'm going to need money in order to survive. So if anyone wants to help me out, my bills are going to increase quite significantly unless I get health insurance very soon, which is probably not going to happen, but that in and of itself is going to result in, you know, I'm going to, you know, so my monthly expenses are going up. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so I got a show here. I'm doing a show. And so what's the percentage breakdown on your take? I think it's 70-30. Yuck, I never drink Folgers. Never did and never will. It has nothing to do with my age. It has to do with the fact that I have a functioning taste buds. This motherfucking Bilb. My fucking mom would drink goddamn Folgers. And guess what? My mom's dead, motherfucker. So that is not something that you want to have associated with Folgers. So, hey, I'm staying away from that shit. What am I drinking? I'm drinking some bullshit. I couldn't even begin to tell you. Like, I couldn't even begin to answer that question. I am not equipped. All I know is it's not Folgers. I've also got a LaCroix. Drinking some LaCroix this morning. I'm going to take the day off of alcohol, drink some soft seltzer. Something like that, Bodan. Let's go, Bodan. I agree. You may notice I am wearing the same clothes as yesterday with the pajamas. You know, like, at this point, I mean, come on now. Like, this is just going to be how it's going to be. Anyway, so we got a show going on, doing a program here today. And I've got some news. I've got a follow-up to yesterday's Molotov story that is very interesting, and I want to cover that very soon. I'm going to be talking about the federal government today, as well as movies and television. Going to be talking about the latest episode of Better Call Saul. If you haven't seen it, I mean, go ahead and watch it now, come back, and then you'll catch the review right at the end of the show. You still have time. Fantastic app, but also I watched a couple of movies over the course of the weekend that I would like to discuss in videographic form, in the form of a review. And so there you go. I'm drinking Folgers Gourmet. What? Okay, so you got Folgers, you know, but then people that really love the brand Folgers Gourmet. Gourmet Supreme. Like, gourmet, that's decent. You ever had fucking Folgers Gourmet? It's okay. Fucking Folgers Gourmet Supreme, though? Fuck. I'm drinking my afternoon Monster. See, Riolon and I are very similar when it comes to drug use in certain ways, and I appreciate that. Riolon knows what's up. I went through, actually, before I started drinking coffee, for those of you that don't know, I started drinking coffee when I was 23. 22? Might have been 23. Very recently. Maybe 22? But before that, I had a very severe addiction to energy drinks. And I'd never tried coffee before, but I got hooked on energy drinks. I was drinking like 3 or 4 of those fuckers a day. Monster, NOS, Rockstar, all the good stuff. Drinking some goddamn energy drinks. Red Bull, I tried those flavors. You know, I was super into that. And then I realized that shit's fucking expensive. Like, okay, now I'm addicted to caffeine. Great. Let's drink coffee now. And I never had coffee until, I think I was like 20. I think it was like soon after my 23rd birthday. I want to, well, no, I want to say 22. I don't know. It was very, very not so long ago. But now I'm a coffee machine. I'm addicted to coffee now, for sure. Better drink coffee than energy drinks? I agree. That's how I ended up with renal stones. Yeah. Like, my thing was it's just too expensive, you know? Like, I'm not wealthy. And if I'm spending, like, I was buying, like, you know, like those 4-packs or whatever that you can buy at, like, 7-Eleven. Sometimes they've got the 4-packs. That was, like, that's my daily allotment, you know? And, you know, so it's not good for you. Drink coffee. Unless it's Folgers. Then, honestly, I think Monster is probably better than Folgers. Zero sugar purple one. Fuck yeah. There's this zero sugar black one that I tried recently. It's really good. My favorite is probably the watermelon or the green one. I forget what it's called, but it's like a sour kind of thing. So puts 1/4 of a cup of sugar literally measured in their coffee. First of all, sugar in a coffee, go fuck yourself. Second of all, using cups as a unit of measurement, go fuck yourself. Third of all, hello Instinct, welcome to the program. Y'all, you may notice if you check on my channel, I've got a YouTube channel for those of you that don't know. And on my YouTube channel, I upload videos. And so sometimes I upload videos about video games. I'm a video gamer. Coming up on the YouTube channel that this stream is also broadcast on is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Eternal Duelist Soul speedrun. 6 hours, 57 minutes. And that's my first run of this game. It is about an hour and 1/2 of an hour off of the world record. And so over the course of the week, theoretically, I will be producing some more speedruns of this. And so, you know, stay tuned for that. Watch the run if you'd like. There you go. My shirt is cool. Thank you very much. Drinking some black motherfucking ass son of a bitchin' coffee, as you can see here. There's like a floater in here. It's like a little speck of dust. Let me get that out. Oh, it's still there. Oh, it's still there. Oh. I got it. I agree, Bodan. I agree. Let's go, Bodan. I agree. Bodan! Tomorrow, Wednesday. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Doom stream. Tomorrow, Cooking with the Bitch. I filmed that this morning. So, if anyone likes Cooking with the Bitch, that should be up tomorrow. And so there you go. Anyway, I've spent 20 minutes doing a fucking preamble. Let's get into this fucking shit. Let's get into this fucking shit. Let's get into this goddamn fucking shit. Let's get into the... Okay. Alright. Let's get... Okay. So let's do that. Let's do this. And... Alright. Okay. So... I want to read this because, you know, I'm sure that there's a video version of this, but whatever. Can't be bothered tracking it down. What did I cook? You'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out. It's just that simple. Language, Pharmaslaf, Is this the YouTube channel? I'm not sure. Trying very slowly to be more healthy. There you go, Build. Bill, weren't you the one who said that you eat like fucking like one piece of spinach if you're lucky, like per month or something? Some like bizarre fucking like goblin mode, like depraved, like fucking like caveman, like fucking like ass fucking shit. Well, not even caveman, because caveman would have better diets than you, because, you know, fibers and vegetables and, you know, caveman. But anyway, so you're, you know.
All of a sudden we can't talk about Neanderthal DNA anymore.
Goddamn Bill, am I right, this motherfucker? All right. Joe Biden, currently the president of the United States, formerly a senator. Why am I telling you what he was formerly? I don't know. But anyway, Joe Biden, currently the president, released a statement in regards to COVID and Ukraine. I am more interested in the COVID portion of this statement, so let's read. 10 days ago, I sent Congress an urgent proposal to provide needed military, economic, and humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. The plan was substantial in size because the need is substantial. We must stand by Ukraine as it defends itself from Russian aggression. All right, so far so good. But let's get into this COVID stuff. Like, what's he's going to talk about COVID? The need is also urgent. I've nearly exhausted the resources given to me by a bipartisan majority in Congress to support Ukraine's fighters. This aid has been critical to Ukraine's success in the battlefield. We cannot allow our shipments of assistance to stop while we await further congressional action. We are approximately 10 days from hitting this critical deadline. So he needs funding for Ukraine, right? But he also needs funding for COVID. Again, the White House is still officially covering up the amount of COVID deaths. According to the White House, we are nearly approaching 1 million, though. By the estimated sum of every state government and local government, we've reached 1 million several months ago. I covered that in a previous video, but let's keep going. Previously, I'd recommended Congress take overdue action on much-needed funding for COVID treatments, vaccines, and tests as part of the Ukraine supplemental bill. However, I have been informed by congressional leaders on both parties that such an addition would slow down action on the urgently needed Ukrainian aid. Think about this, though. Republicans, like, they're fine with sending a bunch of military contracts, right, to contractors, right, ostensibly for good reason, right, you know, Ukraine needs weapons, right, they're fighting a fucking war, right, and they're doing a pretty good job. I support the war effort in Ukraine. I think that Ukraine has a right to defend itself, but it's interesting that, again, who is getting paid? When we talk about funding for Ukraine, where are these funds going, right? It's not like, they're dropping like fucking caches of $100 bills in Ukraine. What they're doing is they're contracting military companies, the military industrial complex, Raytheon and so forth, in the United States domestically, paying them to manufacture weapons to send to Ukraine. So again, Republicans are only interested in Ukraine because they can pay their donors via weapons contracts, right? And you can't really do the similar things with COVID. And so that's interesting, right? Like, so again, it's not about doing what's right. It's not about helping people with Republicans or Democrats for that matter, let's be honest. It's about how can I pay my donors, right? So if you can accidentally stumble upon something that's morally, not terrible, and also pay your donors, you're winning. But if you stumble upon something that's morally necessary, but you can't pay your donors with that, why bother? Why bother? Let's just let people die. Bodan in the chat says, I've been tracking U.S. COVID deaths and noticed the number hasn't been rising or it's very slow. That's because the entire government has covered up what counts as a COVID case and what counts as a death. The CDC basically completely stopped tracking cases in April. Joe Biden declared victory from COVID in March during the State of the Union. The CDC stopped tracking cases. They only track cases if it's, quote, a hospitalization. So you can test positive. That's not a case of COVID. No. You need to be on your deathbed in order for it to be a case, right? Because they just changed the definitions of words. So yeah, again, Joe Biden right now is to the right of Donald Trump and to the right of Ron DeSantis on COVID. Joe Biden's COVID policy and his CDC is to the right of Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. I said that 2 times because for emphasis. Let me be clear, as vital as it is to help Ukraine combat Russian aggression, I wouldn't even say combat Russian aggression. I mean, fucking Ukraine is fighting off a goddamn full-scale invasion of their country. Russian aggression is like fucking Putin going like, man, you're a little stinky over there, right? Like, that's aggression. That's aggressive, right? Like a full-scale fucking invasion, right? Trying to destroy the country and destroy the fucking concept of Ukraine as a nationality. That's not aggression. That's just straight up fucking evil, right? But anyway, let's go on. It is equally vital to help Americans combat COVID. Without timely COVID funding, more Americans will die needlessly. We will lose our place in line for America to order new COVID treatments and vaccines for the fall, including next-generation vaccines under development. Now, once again, the White House has estimated 100 million cases in fall and winter. So, and that's without the funding. Now, I don't know if that's 100 million hospitalizations, right? The case metric for the CDC, because they changed positive test being a case, which logical, right? You test positive, you have a case of coronavirus. Now the CDC says you have to be in the hospital in order for it to be a case, right? So is that 100 million hospitalizations or is that 100 million cases? Who knows? The CDC just fucked up all the messaging and now everyone's lost when it comes to these definitions. So good job, CDC. Good job, Biden administration. And unable to maintain our supply of COVID tests. In the fall, we are hit by new variants. If we are hit by new variants, it will be too late to get the tools needed for protection. Critical treatments that will be available in Europe, but not the United States. In addition, our effort to help lower income countries get COVID vaccines into arms will stall. There is no effort for that. Let's be honest. Joe Biden said that he was going to try to waive vaccine patents. He never tried to do that. He's a fucking piece of garbage. He is a global apartheid eugenicist. Joe Biden is to the right of Donald Trump on COVID. Now, again, that's not when it comes to patents. Donald Trump loved the patents too, right? Like, you know, corporate America loves corporations, right? But again, it needs to be understood that Joe Biden is lying to everyone all the time about COVID. Everything he says, assume the opposite is correct. He doesn't give a shit about global vaccine distribution. If he did, he would waive vaccine patents, right? But he's not doing that because he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. He doesn't fucking care at all, right? The only reason they want this funding is just for his fucking, it's just for his optics, right? He wants people to think that he's doing something when in reality he's doing nothing, okay? Let's be honest about that. Critical, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I call on Congress to pass the Ukrainian supplemental funding bill immediately and get it to my desk in the next few days. And then I urge Congress to move promptly on the COVID funding bill. This virus knows no borders. We must continue to save lives here at home and around the world. Like, I want to be very clear. COVID is killing more people than the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That's just a fact. Now, am I saying that we should judge priorities based on who dies the most? My opinion is we should do all of the above. We should help Ukrainians defend their country, as well as help Americans recover from the COVID crisis. But it needs to be understood that, morally speaking, the idea that Joe Biden is delinking this stuff and saying, all right, they're going to pass the Ukraine funding. We know the Republicans aren't going to pass COVID funding unless it gives a big amount of money to their pharmaceutical donors, right? We're fucked. COVID in this country has won. When Joe Biden declared victory in the State of the Union this year, he ostensibly declared victory from COVID. But what he really was declaring was victory for COVID. COVID has won, right? COVID is going to be a part of humanity now because of the actions of Donald Trump and Joe Biden and their corrupt governments, as well as corrupt governments all across the globe, such as, you know, Brazil's got a horrible time of it right now with Bolsonaro. India's having multiple crises with Modi in there. And then, of course, Europe is struggling in a lot of places, especially the UK right now is going through a giant surge with their fucking bozo goofball Boris Johnson in there. And, you know, Russia, who knows what Russia's going with COVID numbers. People have done analyses of Russian COVID reporting, found out that the numbers are almost entirely unreliable. They're just making it up. You can't trust Russian COVID numbers in the same way you can't trust the United States COVID numbers because both countries lie all the time. The United States covers up all of their crimes all the time. So does Russia. They're both evil countries with disgusting and corrupt leaders. And so that needs to be understood here. They don't care. Joe Biden doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care if you die. He doesn't care if your grandma dies. He doesn't care if your kid dies. He doesn't give a shit. And in fact, right, he's using this as a political, like, you know, optics round. He's like, oh, let me weaponize COVID, not to actually help anyone, but to get people the impression that I'm helping them or want to help them theoretically. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care. And neither do Republicans in Congress, and neither do Democrats in Congress. None of them care about anything. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about you being able to feed your kids. They don't care about you being able to pay your rent. They don't fucking care about you at all. Not a single fucking politician gives a fuck. Not a single politician gives a fuck about anything that you have to say, about anything that your kids have to say or would have to say. And if they didn't die in a school shooting, if they didn't die from a fucking plague, if they didn't die from other sorts of accidents and stuff that are completely preventable in this society. But anyway, that's Joe Biden. His statement on Ukraine and COVID. I'm going to say we'll probably get the COVID, or we'll probably get the Ukraine funding. Because again, Republicans only support that because they can give contracts to their donors. And the COVID funding, if it passes, it would only pass if it is done so in a way that again funds the specific amounts of people's donors. Like Joe Manchin, he might be, he might be willing to pass COVID funding if he gets to write the entire bill and dictate where the money goes. Because that's how our country works. Environmental Coffee House says, my doctor told me yesterday he has tested positive 3 times for COVID. He's vaccinated and has gotten a sniffle. He says the unvaccinated have made their choice. I disagree. The unvaccinated have not made their choice. They've made a choice for us. They've made our choice. Right? If the vaccination, if this worked in the sense, oh, I get sick and I die and I don't spread the virus to anyone else, good. Fuck your choice. Fuck you. Die, bitch. Right? But again, it's not the case. What they do is they spread the virus as they're unvaccinated. They spread the virus to their family, to our family. They spread the virus to everyone, and they maintain the status of being in a pandemic. So no, they have not made their choice. Anyone that wants to say that this is about personal choice is a fucking moron. And honestly, I would consider getting a different doctor. But, maybe I'm being a little hyperbolic. But seriously, this is not a personal responsibility bullshit. They did not make their fucking choice. They made a choice for us, and they've decided that they're going to torture us as long as they possibly can, and as long as the government lets them. Yeah, the CDC is a definitely corrupt organization for sure. %31% positivity rate in South Africa. Yep, we're fucked. We're fucked! And for God's sake, for once, can we get fucked in the good dick way? Because I'm waiting. Come on, Joe. That's what the doc said. He is with you. Okay. I got triggered by your language, Environmental Coffee House. I got triggered. All right. So I want to get into a couple of other things. So there was a journalist of some kind, independent reporter, okay, who made a thread about a protest. And I want to read this. The protest was at, I believe, Alito's house, Supreme Court Justice. And I want to showcase some of what's going on here. This is from yesterday. So here we have Talia Jane on Twitter posted a thread. Now, there was a protest organized outside of Brett Kavanaugh's house a couple of days ago, organized by the literal neighbors, next-door neighbors to Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh's next-door neighbors, like literally the people on his street, across the street, right next to his house, they all organized this protest because they don't fucking like him. Nobody likes him. He's a fucking freak. Brett Kavanaugh is a fucking freak, right? But anyway, groups and organizations in Washington, D.C., organized now another protest outside of Samuel Alito's house. And so police respond in very interesting ways. And I want to showcase this. I'm just going to be scrolling through this while I talk. But one of the important parts to underscore here is that no one has a pitchfork. No one has a torch. right? They're not burning down Alito's house. They're not burning down Kavanaugh's house, right? No one is walking around with guns, with sniper rifles, with bombs, with AR-15s, right? Like you see in right-wing demonstrations. No one is doing that, right? People are literally just saying, hey, fuck you. And that's what's causing this outrage. Now, again, it needs to be very, very, very clear that mainstream media, as well as politicians, including Democrats and Republicans, all of them, Republicans and Democrats, they are both anti-abortion parties. It needs to be very understood. One of them is very clear about it. Oh, we need to destroy abortion at all times or at all costs for the babies. The Democrats just don't care. The leader of the Democratic Party is endorsing Republicans and anti-abortion Democrats. What does Democrat even mean, by the way? I don't even know. The leader of the Democratic Party is putting forth statements condemning violence and protests at people's homes. Now, again, note, right, protesters have the capacity to use fire, and instead they're using it for candlelight vigils instead of throwing Molotov cocktails at Alito's house, right? Which I'm not endorsing, by the way. But again, notice the police presence, police moving all across the house, occupying their house. Why? Why do these justices fear for their safety? Well, it's because, again, they are enacting fascist law in this country, fascist rule in this country. They are deciding what people can and can't do with their own bodies. Imagine if there was a law that made it illegal, that made it, you will literally go to jail if you get a mole tased off of your face. Like, you know how they have like those mole lasers, you know, they just laser the mole and then it's gone. Imagine you go to jail for that. Imagine you go to jail for going to a dentist. Now imagine, not only do you go to jail for going to a dentist, but then the dentist goes to jail for cleaning your teeth. That's what the Supreme Court is going to rule on. Do you go to jail because you need chemotherapy? That's what they want to rule on. You all can already go to jail if you eat the wrong plant. If you see a fucking weed growing through your fucking crack in the sidewalk outside of your house and it's the wrong one, you can go to jail. That's what this government does. It is a fascist government. So notice, by the way, that this is my favorite part of the thread, where basically all of Alito's neighbors, you know, which, you know, it's a relatively wealthy neighborhood, but again, they're joining the protest. They're giving the you know, reporter here just free food and everything, you know, it's good optics. But again, this is what protesters are doing. This is what's happening outside Supreme Court justices' houses. It needs to be understood. There is no threat, there is no danger, okay? That's just not the case. The threats that are happening and the danger that would be happening is not directed at Supreme Court justices at this moment in time. Now, we can debate should, could, would, but we have to look at the facts of this matter. And so, again, it needs to be understood that the media and politicians are going to do anything that they can to shift the conversation away from the fact that the Supreme Court, somehow, people in bed sheets and Snuggies are going to dictate who and who cannot go to the doctor. That is, again, medical tyranny. We have modern medicine, but they only want modern medicine to be used by the wealthy, by the elite, and by people that they approve of. Right? That's just how it is. That's where we're living. If you're an adult in Alabama, but you happen to be queer, can't go to the doctor, right? This is what they're doing. They want to dictate who and who is not allowed to use medicine, who and who is not allowed to get health care. That's their goal. Meanwhile, the other side is saying, hey, what the fuck? That's fucked up. And look at how much money they're wasting on cops. It's ridiculous. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this, and I'm going to make this a combined segment, is that the Senate just passed a security bill for Supreme Court family members. Is the Senate going to pass security bills for people to go to abortion clinics? The Supreme Court, as previously, a couple of decades ago, ruled that Westboro Baptist Church protesters are allowed to stalk abortion patients, right? The Supreme Court ruled that the Westboro Baptist Church following abortion patients home and then attacking them at home and then yelling at them at home, that's legal. You go to the doctor and get a medical procedure and you can have people yelling at you at your house every day forever, and the Supreme Court says. But all of a sudden, the people that live literally right next door and across the street from Kavanaugh and Alito say, hey, fuck you. And all of a sudden, the Senate, 100 votes. I really want to be very clear here. 100 votes. Even Bernie Sanders, even Ed Markey, even Elizabeth Warren, even all these so-called left-wingers. 100 votes. Is the Senate going to have 100 votes to give security teams for abortion patients? Nah. Is the Senate going to give 100 votes to give security teams for doctors? Nah. No way. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck the patients, I hope they die. Fuck the doctors, I hope they die. But we really got to save the bedsheet people. The people walking around in Snuggies. We got to save them. Oh no, someone has a megaphone. Let's waste money giving them extra security. The Senate on Monday easily cleared a bill to extend security protections to the immediate family members of Supreme Court justices. The bill, spearheaded by John Cornyn and Chris Coons, passed the Senate by unanimous consent, meaning all 100 senators have to sign off in order for it to be passed without a formal vote. All 100. Yes, even Bernie Sanders. Now, I don't know, I haven't read a statement from Bernie Sanders, but to me, that's disgusting. I mean, one of the worst votes Bernie has taken in a long, long time. It still now heads to the House for passage. Threats to the physical safety of Supreme Court justices and their families are disgraceful, blah, 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 blah. I'm glad the Senate, blah, 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 blah. Fuck them. Coons in a statement, blah, blah, blah. Fuck them, fuck me, fuck you. The bill would formally allow Supreme Court of the United States Police to provide around-the-clock protection to family members in line with security some executive and congressional offices get. Now, again, you get an abortion and some crazy religious fundamentalists like follow you and stalk you to your home and threaten you at your work, the Supreme Court says that's constitutional. They're expressing their First Amendment. Now that, I agree with that ruling. As fucked up as it is, I agree with that ruling. But also, I agree with the idea that you have a First Amendment protection and a right to free speech. When it's an abortion patient, when it's a Supreme Court justice. But note that the government of the United States and the Supreme Court, they're hypocrites. Protection for me, but not for thee. It's illegal to protest outside of a judge's home. And we're going to spend infinite amounts of money paying and wasting money, by the way, not on vaccines so that we can stop the pandemic, not on healthcare so that people can stop being sick and die, not on, I don't know, maybe fixing our infrastructure, maybe so that people don't have poisoned drinking water. No. Fuck that. Fuck that. Let's waste money on giving police overtime cash to stop them from the people that are cooking and giving people key lime pies. Yeah, look how dangerous this is. Oh no. Samuel Alito's neighbor baked a key lime pie. Oh fuck. We need millions of dollars. 100 votes in the Senate. Holy shit. And again, even Bernie Sanders, I don't know what his excuse is, but he needs to come up with a good one. A really good one. The bill was blah, blah, blah. Thursday, roughly 3 days after the leak of the draft decision, blah, blah, blah. The report sparked near immediate protests outside the Supreme Court, where law enforcement officials subsequently put up a non-scalable fence. Groups gathered over the weekend to protest outside the homes of Kavanaugh and Chief Justice John Roberts, while a group is also planning to hold a vigil outside of Alito's home on Monday night. Now, note that vigil is in quotes. Why is that? I don't know. $100 votes. Can you get 100 votes on anything else other than more cops for the most well-protected anyway? They've already got infinite money. They've already got infinite protection. They've already got private security. But let's waste more government money on giving them more cops. Again, anything that they possibly can to steer the conversation away from the fact that these policies that they want to enact are going to kill people. Restricting people's access to healthcare requires killing them, right? Again, the fascist mode of thought is how can we kill people but make it legal? If you walk up to someone who got an abortion and shoot them in the head, unfortunately for you, that's illegal. So how can we make doing that as legal as possible? Oh, we make it so that they can't even go to the doctor. We make it so that if they've got a life-threatening condition, a doctor has to say, sorry, some guy in a bedsheet wearing a Snuggie, 2,470 miles away, said that I'm not allowed to give you health care, so now you're going to die? And also, you know, what's inside of you, right? Your so-called baby, oh, you're going to have a stillbirth, but you have to carry it anyway, and you're going to die, and I could stop it, but some guy in a bedsheet 2,500 miles away said I can't. So, sorry, have fun dying. And then someone dies. But guess what? It's legal. You pulled the trigger without going to jail. That is the goal. That's what they want to do. Now, again, right-wingers are not afraid of pulling the trigger, as we see with Kyle Rittenhouse and so forth. Right-wing vigilantism has been happening in this country for decades. Right? I mean, look at the, multiple bombings and terrorist attacks, assassinations of medical professionals and doctors, assassinations of just random patients who receive healthcare. Right-wingers are not afraid at all of violence in any capacity, but also random acts of vigilantism are not enough. Kyle Rittenhouse only killed 2 people. How the hell are we going to execute every single left-winger in this country if we're only killing 2 people a year? Right? We need an industry of mass murder and death in this country. That's what Republicans, and that's what fascists, and that's what Democrats think. They're all in agreement. They're all in agreement. Both parties, 100% votes. Every senator, including Bernie Sanders, including whatever left-winger you want to come up with so-called, right? They all voted in favor of fascism. Cops for thee, or rather cops for me, but not for thee? How can we create a legalized industry of murdering people that we disagree with? You never see that on the left. Left-wingers do not support policy that would restrict access to health care for Republicans. Republicans do that on their own. They don't want to take a vaccine. Fuck them. Hey, your body, your choice or whatever, right? Okay. Right? But do you see any left-wing politician say that if someone voted for Donald Trump, they shouldn't have access to vaccines? Have you seen a left-wing politician say that Republicans shouldn't be allowed to go to the grocery store? Have you seen left-wing politicians say that if you voted for Ronald Reagan, you shouldn't be allowed to go through chemotherapy? No. But you see right-wingers doing the exact same. Have you seen a left-winger support legislation that says straight people are not allowed to go to the doctor? No. Have you seen legislation from left-wingers that say that cisgender people who go through menopause or something else or whatever who end up needing hormones, are they not allowed to get hormones? Right? Because hormones are bad, right? No. Only right-wingers want to restrict hormone access to queer kids and adults, like in Alabama, and North Carolina has a bill that wants to ban healthcare for queer people under the age of 25. Do you see left-wingers say, oh, if you're straight and cisgender, you're not allowed to have hormone therapy? Menopause is going to be real rough. Sorry, it's nature. Fuck you. It's nature, bitch. Do you see left-wingers do that? No. It's always the right. The right wants and is and always will be trying to create a mass murder industry for profit and to murder and kill and expunge their political enemies from this earth. That is their goal. We are in the Fourth Reich. We are in a civil war. It's not heating up. It's not going to start any minute. We have been in one for decades. The culture war isn't just something that happens on Twitter or Facebook. People get killed at protests, right? Again, medical professionals and doctors have been assassinated. Planned Parenthoods have been bombed. And what's the reaction from the left? Up until now, it's been nothing. There's no left-wing politician that would even dream of enacting similar kinds of legislation. You don't even see these blue states using their advantage, right? They've got blue states. They're not using their blue slate legislatures to get bills, to be sued into the Supreme Court to see, oh, what's illegal, what's not legal, blah, 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 this and that. You see red states doing this all across the country. Oh, let's ban gay people from teaching. Let's ban gay people from living. Let's ban gay people from going to the doctor. You don't see, even just as a messaging campaign, you don't see Democrats give a shit. Why? Because they agree with fascism. Democrats do not do anything to stop fascism because they like it. They like it. They like the fact that no one gives a fuck. They don't want to animate people to give a fuck because then they're going to vote them out because they know that they're corrupt. So they're fine with the fascists running and ruling this government. They're fine with killing the queers and killing anyone with a womb. They're fine with killing anyone who's not white. As long as they don't kill them. And this is where we get into we need to talk about this, right? This is a culture war, but it's one-sided. This is a civil war, but it's one-sided. Only one side of this conversation is using violence. Historically, that's always been the way it has been. Can you think of any examples of left-wing violence against right-wingers? Now, a lot of people might want to bring up 2020, rioters and looters, woo! The right loves bringing up the rioters and looters. Rioters and looters, they're looting and rioting. Goddamn, big goddamn rioting. But can you give me any example of rioters and looters targeting right-wingers for their political opinions and actually killing them? Now, some people might come up with one example in 2020 with the example of Michael Reinl, but it's disputed whether or not he was targeting that guy or whether or not it was self-defense. And guess what? There was no legal proceedings to find out what actually happened. Why? Because Donald Trump sent a hit squad to go kill Michael Reinl. So we don't have any facts. We don't have any discovery process. We'll never know whether or not that was self-defense. Because the right, instead of using the court of law, instead of using legal mechanisms, the President of the United States organized an assassination on an American citizen. Why? Because he's a left-winger. So they can do that. They can just go in there, shoot and kill him, lie about it. There's a dozen witnesses that directly contradict what the police say happened. And their names aren't released. No one talks about this. Right? So anytime a left-winger actually does anything remotely violent, Kyle Rittenhouse can kill 2 people, go to court, cry on TV, and get off. Why wasn't Michael Reinl given that same exact privilege? Even if he was found guilty. Because again, the rules are not the same for left and right. The right has all the power. The right has all the parties. The right has all the politicians. They've got all the money. The left has nothing. The left has nothing at all. And this should explain exactly the situation we're dealing with. Even so-called left-wing senators like Bernie Sanders. Bernie could have single-handedly stopped this from happening via unanimous consent. He could have said, we don't need cops. Down. Sorry, you have to do the vote manually. He chose not to. Now, I'd love to see a statement. I'm not sure if he has one out yet. But this is where we're at. But I want to talk about something else as well. Well, actually, let's do Nancy Pelosi first. God, I fucking hate her. Nancy Pelosi, the leader of Democrats in the House of Representatives, after Roe v. Wade SCOTUS leak that happened last week, what did she do? She immediately went to campaign for the so-called last anti-abortion Democrat, Henry Cuellar. Oh shit, the Supreme Court's trying to destroy abortion rights? Well, let me go make sure more anti-abortion people get elected to office. That's Nancy Pelosi's first thought. But what was her second thought? Oh shit. Roe v. Wade is going to go bye-bye? Well, let's take this opportunity to demand that we have a stronger Republican Party. Now imagine a scenario where in Germany, the opposition party to Adolf Hitler was like, man, if only Adolf Hitler were slightly more strong, if only Adolf Hitler had more power. That's the opposition party. Could you imagine that? Nancy Pelosi, fuck! If only Adolf Hitler had more power, more money, and more supporters. Damn! If only. Let's watch.
I mean, the fossil fuel industry, they weigh in so significantly. I mean, how could it be that...
I'm sorry, what? Okay, the fossil fuel industry, they weigh in so significantly. How could it be?
I mean, the fossil fuel industry,
Only
they
the
weigh
really,
in
I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
so significantly. I mean, how could it be that nobody on the Senate side cares, in the Senate cares about climate? Some of them do, and they talk about it. When it comes to the votes, it just isn't there. They just aren't there. So rather than saying, well, we have to defeat them, no, let's just try to persuade them. I want the Republican Party to take back the party. Take it back to where you were, where you cared about a woman's right to choose, you cared about...
When did Republicans care about a woman's right to choose? Can you give me any point in human history? Like just one, like a Tuesday somewhere, maybe in 1994 or something, maybe just one day in human history where the Republican Party unanimously or collectively agreed, yes, reproductive freedom is good. Can you give me one minute throughout all of human history where that's ever happened? I don't think you could.
About the environment.
This bitch is on drugs. Anyone... Now, again, this is the manufacturing consent theory. Like, who the fuck is going to be in this crowd? Oh, right. Rich, fucking champagne, fucking drinking, sipping, brunch, fucking bitch-ass, fucking loser, elite fucking Democrat donors. But imagine going like, woo! Republicans, yay! While you're at an event for the leader of the Democratic Party in the House. They don't care about you. They don't care. They don't fucking give a shit about you. They want you to die. And even if they don't want you to die, they're not going to give a shit if you fall off the cliff. If you have your hand held out and you're falling off the cliff and they're right there and they can pass you the rope, they'd rather watch you fall down the cliff and die and do nothing than to do the bare minimum, to move a fucking finger to make sure that you're safe.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do. Not a cult, but a strong Republican Party. I mean, the fossil fuel...
Like, she thought, look at her smile here.
But a strong Republican Party.
Like, look at this. Look at this last frame. She is like, damn, I nailed it. I nailed it. By the way, my Max dog came over here when I was clapping like an idiot. Come on, Max. Come on, Maxie. He's very concerned with my antics right now. But again, imagine fucking Kevin McCarthy. Come on, Max. Saying we need a strong Democratic Party. Like, you'll never see that shit, right? Why? Because Kevin McCarthy is a fucking Republican. So why are Democrats, so-called, why are they endorsing Republicans? Why are they trying to make the Democratic Party more like the Republican Party? Why are they saying the Republican Party needs to be stronger? It's because they're not Democrats, they're Republicans. It's just that they're wearing a different tie. They're garbage. I need you to understand, Nancy Pelosi is garbage. In the history books, assuming I or someone like me got to write them, Nancy Pelosi would be in the list of the most fucked up motherfuckers who had the most power and influence at a time where if they could have used it, the direction of the country would be in an entirely different way, but they chose not to act. Elizabeth Warren would be there. Nancy Pelosi would be there. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, they're all doing nothing as fascism is taking hold in this country. They're doing nothing. But actually, no. Let me be very clear. They're doing worse than nothing. They are on the side of the fascists. They are defending the fucking Republicans all the time, even when no one asks them. The Republican Party is destroying reproductive freedom and access to health care in this country. They have been for decades. And Nancy Pelosi's first thought is, what if the Republican Party had more power? Nailed it! Nailed it! Absolute and utter depravity. That is the brand for Democrats. All right, y'all. I want to hold the phone for a sec. Okay, so real quick, I just want to say, before I get into the next segment, I want to say a reminder that everything you say, everything you write is in a database, right? And if you ever are in a position where the federal government is doing anything in regards to you in any way, they're going to bring up everything you say at any time. Everything you say is recorded. Everything you say is documented. They have everything. If you've ever written something on an electronic device that's connected to the internet, the federal government has access to that. Please understand. But also, this is a news show. I am a news host, and I'm going to give you news. This is news, as in information, as in a story. I fucking hate Elizabeth Warren. But also, so I want to say that, and then we're going to get into this story. So yesterday on the program, I covered an alleged attack, an arson attack on a Wisconsin anti-abortion organization's office. And yesterday, I was very skeptical of whether or not this was a false flag or not, because we have seen multiple times Republicans and right-wingers love false flags. Now again, there's been a couple of times, let's be fair, where left-wingers or liberals have done false flag tactics, right? It's a tactic that exists. Historically speaking, Republicans and right-wingers are more likely to use it. Though, a group has claimed responsibility for this arson attack. And so, I want to read to you their statement. This is on Madison.com, but also the original post and source is Robert Evans. Some of people that follow me watch his show as well. And so I want to read this article with a little bit more info and then read the statement. Now, again, I want to be very clear. I am a news host. I do a YouTube show. I do a show on YouTube. That is where this show takes place. So, I'm just giving you the news. An organization calling itself Jane's Revenge has claimed responsibility for setting fire to the Madison headquarters of a statewide anti-abortion group and warns of more violence to come if similar organizations do not disband nationwide. The group's first communique was shared anonymously with an investigative reporter for the online news site Bellingcat, who posted a series of tweets describing it early Tuesday morning. Quote, "This was only a warning," the group states. Is there like the full statement? Okay, here's the full statement. "This is not a declaration of war. War has been upon us for decades, a war which we did not want and did not provoke. Too long have we been attacked for asking for basic medical care. Too long have we been shot, bombed, and forced into childbirth without consent. This was only a warning. We demand the disbanding of all anti-choice establishments, fake clinics, and violent anti-choice groups within the next 30 days. This is not a mere difference of opinion, as some have framed it. We are literally fighting for our lives. We will not sit still while we are killed and forced into servitude. We have run thin on patience and mercy for those who seek to strip us of what little autonomy we have left. As you continue to bomb clinics and assassinate doctors with impunity, so too shall we adopt increasingly extreme tactics to maintain freedom over our own bodies. We are forced to adopt the minimum military requirement for a political struggle. Again, this was only a warning. Next time, the infrastructure of the enslavers will not survive. Medical imperialism will not face a passive enemy. Wisconsin is the first flashpoint, but we are all over the United States, and we will issue no further warnings. And we will not stop, we will not back down, nor will we hesitate to strike until the inalienable right to manage our own health is returned to us. We are not one group, but many. We are in your city, we are in every city. Your repression only strengthens our accompliship and resolve." The group's name echoes the name of Jane Collective, which provided illegal abortions in Chicago in the late 1960s and early 1970s before Roe v. Wade. So anyway, this is the statement. This is a group that has released a statement. And here's some more photos. Now again, the reason why I thought this was a false flag is I think cursive is way too neat. That's just me. But if a group is going to claim responsibility, then I'm willing to say that they're probably responsible. Whether or not the group is a false flag, remains to be seen. Either way, once again, I am a news show. I'm a news host on a news show. I'm not here to take a side on anything. I do not endorse violence, because that is not the role of someone on a news program, and that's not what I do. I do not endorse violence. I think that violence is bad. And you should probably not be violent. But, that being said, you can read the statement for yourself. You can interpret the statement yourself. if you'd like. You're free to have your own interpretation of the statement. But also, I do not endorse violence. I do not endorse anyone in my live chat or in my community to engage in violent behavior or any illegal behavior, because the law is sacred. I love the law and I follow the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen, not to be confused with that movie where that guy is clearly not a law-abiding citizen. You know, that's the joke of the movie. But this isn't a movie. This is real life. I love the law and I love to abide by the law. And I'm a news host on YouTube.com. And so that all needs to be said. But anyway, a group is claiming responsibility. You can see the original tweet thread by Robert Evans. This is how I first saw this this morning. This is very new, by the way. This came out this morning. So you might be hearing about this here for the first time. Now, again, like, it is factually true. It is factually true that the right has gotten away with murder many, many times. Look at Kyle Rittenhouse as a very recent example. But also, again, doctors have been shot, assassinated. Doctors' homes have been blown up. Medical facilities have been blown up and bombed. And yet, the government is still acting as if it's the left that's so violent. The right, and there was like a study by like the FBI or some shit, or FBI statistics. I know people on the right love FBI statistics, so they might get a kick out of this. But it found that, like, as far as political violence is concerned, they found that, well, they split it into 3 categories for some reason. Right-wing violence, left-wing violence, and Muslim violence. Right? I don't know why that's a 3rd category, but okay. And they found that left-wing violence accounts for less than around 10%. Less than 10%. I forget the exact number. It's like 7 or something. But it's around 10% of all political violence. Now, most of the time, Muslim violence, they're right-wing Muslims, right? They believe in a right-wing, authoritarian, fascist view of Islam, right? So that means approximately 90% or so of groups committing violence are right-wing. So if that's the case, and yet the government acts like the left is so violent and evil, you know, again, it's just factually true. Those are factual statements that the right is responsible for almost all political violence in this country. And it's been that way for a long time. I don't think the left has ever engaged in actual organized violence in any capacity in this country throughout its entire history. So, outside of potentially abolitionist movements during the slave era, but really, since then, when have you seen left-wing organizations actually engage in violence as a tactic? So, whether or not this is a false flag, whether or not this is true, this is a statement by the group claiming responsibility. You can make your own interpretation if you so choose. But again, once again, I am a news host and I'm reporting the news. So there you go. Anyway, it's the goddamn news. The A is supposed to be upside down in anarchy. That is not true. Anyway, so there's some news for you. It's a news show. I do a news show here. Typically, I do a news show. On occasion, I've been known to cover the news. Anyway, we're going to get into the culture portion of the program today. All right. So over the weekend, I watched movies. That's right. I'm a movie watcher. I watch movies. So, over the weekend I watched movies, and yesterday I watched television. So we're entering the culture portion of the program. Why am I so close to the camera? I don't know. So over the weekend I watched a film for the first time. Many people have told me this film is a classic. I have been informed that this is a classic piece of cinema. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Jurassic Park. I've never seen this movie before. I've never seen it. I thought I'd never would see it. And then I saw it. So let's talk about Jurassic Park. Good movie. Now, again, well, I don't know, again, for the first time, I want to be very clear. As someone who's very interested in science, I was very upset by the fact that the dinosaurs in this movie did not have feathers. So, hey, I'm just saying, I'm being honest with you. Anyway, so I've never seen this movie before. It was very fun. It was enjoyable. I liked it. So, if you don't know what this movie is, I mean, it's, I'll describe the plot. You can't review something without describing the plot. So anyway, some, archaeologists are, playing with dinosaur bones or whatever. Some motherfucker flies in on a helicopter, fucks up their archaeological site. They get pissed. And then they find out he's their investor. Oh, shit, that's the big boy with the bucks. And then he's like, you should come to my island. And then the archaeologists are like, I don't really want to go to your island, bro. That's a little weird. And then he's like, oh, I'll give you money if you come to my island. So they go to the island. It's is it I don't know where this island is supposed to take place. Is it Costa Rica? I'm not sure. Anyway, so they go to the island and then they fucking see dinosaurs. What? Dinosaurs? What the hell? I thought dinosaurs were extinct. Well, they show the science, and so they've got mosquito blood. 66 million year old mosquito blood. And I guess the mosquito blood had all different kinds of dinosaurs in it. I don't know, I get how they could get one dinosaur's genetics from mosquito blood, but I guess the mosquito blood, or they had so many mosquitoes, I don't know. But anyway, they managed to revive the dinosaurs. And so that's cool. So now there's dinosaurs. But the thing about dinosaurs is they're big and they're fucking scary. Right? So anyway, this guy is like, oh shit, okay, so we managed to reinvent dinosaurs. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna make a fucking theme park. This motherfucker's gonna make a theme park. Okay, so hold the phone. You're telling me you brought dinosaurs back to life. And you're gonna make a fucking theme park, an amusement park? So already a little bit of a silly concept, okay? And then there's other characters in this movie. For whatever reason, and we can't explain it, but Newman takes a vacation to Costa Rica and decides to get a job working for this theme park. And so he's supposed to be a villain. I don't know why Newman is in this movie. I thought he was, a Seinfeld character, but he's in this movie. And so he comes in and he steals some dinosaur embryos and shuts the park down. What an asshole. Does he not realize that there's fucking dinosaurs? I don't know, man. Newman's a little weird. Anyway, he gets killed by a dinosaur, so rip. But anyway, so he shuts the park down. And then the dinosaurs start running around. They're killing people. They're biting people, chopping them in half. They're fucking people up. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, how the hell, if you're bringing dinosaurs back, if you're they're dinosaurs, motherfucker, and you're bringing them back, and you've got one single point of failure that's going to make all hell break loose, you think, okay, we have infinite money, we just we just invented new dinosaurs, we just brought them back. You have infinite money and resources, you're not going to get a better security team? And also, there's, no cops or no, private security force? Man, this is the shit that's crazy to me. Like, okay, so one, you invent dinosaurs, or like, you know, rebirth them or revive them, and you want to make an amusement park. That's already, like, strike one, you're out. Right? Like, that's dumb as hell. But two, you don't even have, like, fucking, like, rocket launchers or nukes or, you know, like, tactical nukes in case anything goes wrong. And all of your machines can be turned off from one computer? Like, man, that's crazy. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? I don't know. It's capitalism run amok. That's what I know. But anyway, so, you know, you got the main characters. You know, you got some guy who's an archaeologist, and he doesn't like kids, but then he gets stuck with a bunch of kids and saves their lives. One of my favorite scenes is when they're sleeping in the tree, and the goddamn fucking, like what was it, like the Bronca fucking Saurus or whatever, it's Bronchi or some shit, you know, with your fucking, you know about Bronchi? Anyway, the guys with the long necks, right? And they're like petting the dinosaurs. That shit was cute as hell. I'm not gonna lie, the effects in this movie, pretty good. Pretty good. Right? The effects, I like it. You know, especially for the time period, right? The CGI, you can kind of tell that there's CGI. But there's also like a lot of actual practical props. And they do a good job meshing them. And so, you know, it's pretty cool. I like, you know, like the action, the running from the dinosaurs themselves. Overall, really well done. I'm not gonna lie. I was into it. I was having fun. And then, like, also, one thing about this movie that's really cool is that there's child murder. At Jurassic Park? No one told me that there was child murder in this movie. If someone would have told me that kids get fucking killed in this movie, I would have watched it way sooner. So anyway, right, like, you know, the power's off, right? And so there's two groups, right? And so one group's trying to turn the power back on. The other group's trying to just fucking get the hell out of the forest, right? Because they got separated. And so eventually, right, they're trying to climb the fence, right? An electric fence, but the electricity is deactivated because Newman was like, yo, I'm Newman. I'm going to turn the whole thing off. And then the goddamn kid is climbing the fence and they turn the electricity on. And that kid gets blown he gets blown to smithereens. He dies, and they have to restart his heart. That's one of the scenes. So he comes back. But there is child murder. The child died. I mean, sure, they came back to life. But he did die, right? That was cool. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, the kid's dead. But then they fucking brought him back to life. Whatever. But anyway, that was cool. But he did die. Right, they had to start his heart. So, child murder is in this movie. And I'm thinking to myself, like, where the fuck, like, there's, like, one scene where they get guns, like, they get these, like, shotguns or whatever, and the guy, like, the one security guy, there's a one security guy. This motherfucker brings back dinosaurs, and he hires one guy as security? Are you kidding me? Anyway. He's hunting these escaped dinosaurs with a shotgun, immediately gets his face bitten off. And then the other characters have shotguns. Like, one of them picks a shotgun up. And they don't even use it. Why are shotguns in this movie if they're not even being used? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. And then you got fucking Samuel L. Jackson. Didn't even see how he dies. Like, there's no death scene. Let's talk about disappointing. But, you know, I like it. You know, it builds suspense. Anyway, this movie's fun. I enjoyed it. Like, you know, it's my main criticism is that there's no feathers. And I'm also aware that there's like 79 movies in this series or whatever. There's like 67,413 movies. I don't know if I'm going to watch any of the other ones. Maybe I will. I'm not sure. But I don't know if the newer ones have feathers. Where the fuck are the feathers? That's what I want to know, where the fuck the feathers are. I was thinking, like, what are these? These aren't dinosaurs. These are, like, giant lizards. Where are the dinosaurs? I thought there's a movie about dinosaurs and these motherfucking giant lizards. Dinosaurs are not lizards, motherfucker. They're birds. Anyway, good movie. I mean, I'm not, like, you know, for what it is, it's good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Nothing worth it post The Lost World. See, I don't know what The Lost World means. Is that like the second movie, the third movie, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh? I don't know how. One, I don't know how many movies there are. Two, I don't know what the subtitles are. Just give me a number, motherfucker. What is The Lost World? What is that, a prequel? Is that like a spin-off prequel? Or like, what is The Lost World? Lost World is second. Okay, well, maybe I'll watch The Lost World. Anyway, good movie. I enjoyed it. So, the effects are good. You know, it's the best part. And the kid characters, usually, like, kids in movies, you know, like, they're hit or miss, right? Kids in movies are hit or miss. I think the kids did a good job carrying the plot. I liked how they were, like, creative in escaping from the dinosaurs, and because they're small, they could get in certain areas the adults couldn't. I think that's cool. Good movie! Maybe I'll watch The Lost World. I'm not sure. I'm lost just going through the first movie, though. That's in it. Like, so again, but keep in mind, this motherfucker's like, oh shit, I just made dinosaurs. Let's make a theme park. What? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it's a good movie, so whatever. Bodan, have you seen Matrix 4? I saw it the day it came out, and I did a movie review the day after it came out. I think that was like one of the first movie reviews I did in Above It All, because it was new at the time, and it was controversial. So actually, I think it's like one of the first ones that I did. All right. So, let's talk about a show. Let's talk about television. I like television. So last night, what is this, like episode 4, 5, 7, 39? I don't know. But last night was another episode of Better Call Saul. Here's my screenshot. This is the highlight of the episode for me. Wow, what a scene. Let me tell you, what a scene. So we got Better Call Goddamn Saul. What a show, first of all. What a show. What a scene. What a show. I don't know, what episode was this, like 4, 5? I don't know. I don't know what the number is. But anyway, wow, good ep. Good ep, okay? So if you haven't seen the ep yet, I need you to get the fuck out and watch the ep. I need you to get the hell out of my goddamn live stream and watch this motherfucking ep. Watch this fucking video later on, because wow, I'm gonna be spoiling the shit out of this ep. So, anyway, so this ep had a couple major moments. Of course, you know, it's continuing the anxiety building with Gustavo and Mike and that whole crew. When is Lalo going to attack? And is Lalo even in the show anymore? This motherfucker's been gone since the first episode. But wait, he's back. That's right, Lalo comes back at the end of the episode. I was losing it when this motherfucker walks into the bar. Right, when this motherfucker walks into the bar. Man, oh, that's good. And then you've got, like, okay, so let's talk about the goddamn. So Jimmy, aka Saul, and Howard, they get into the boxing ring and they fuck each other up. That was great. That was a great fucking scene. I'm into it. At first, right, Jimmy walks away. He's like, I'm not gonna fight you. Right, Howard's pissed because Jimmy's trying to ruin his life. Or is he? I don't know. Right, but he is. And so Howard knows that, and he's just offering as a friendly wager. Let's just fight each other, see what happens. Jimmy's like, I'm not gonna fight you, but then he changes his mind, and so they beat the shit out of each other. It was really funny. It was really fun to watch. Now keep in mind, like, I'm on drugs watching this shit, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm like when they're hitting each other, I'm like, oh, I'm like, ah, right, like it's hard to watch, right? Anyway. So, they fight each other. They beat the shit out of each other. It was great. But then Howard unveils that he's got, like he hired like private investigators to follow Jimmy. And so my guess is that the private investigators are going to meet like the Lalo. That's my guess. I think that they're going to intersect. Because, like, the private investigator is going to follow Jimmy and realize other people are on his tail, like Lalo or Gustavo, right? Or vice versa. That's going to be a problem. I think Howard's going to get involved. I mean, Howard's not in Breaking Bad. I mean, and neither is Kim, for that matter. Man, someone's dying, and someone's crying. I don't know, but it's going to be great. So anyway, so then we got the end of the episode that was phenomenal. When you got fucking Lalo, okay, so you got the wife of like one of the hole builders. So like in the previous season, or like was it a couple seasons ago, I think, they built they started building the basement that becomes the laboratory in Breaking Bad. And there was a whole incident, like one of them tried to escape because he went crazy, and then Mike ended up killing him or whatever. Anyway, so that guy's got a wife. And so Lalo tracks down this wife and tries to get information out of her. By like, you know, meeting her at a bar, trying to sweet talk her. I was losing it. I'm like, oh fuck. And then, right, like, you know, she goes to work the next day. He breaks into her house and the dog starts barking. I was losing it, this motherfucker. I thought he was going to kill that poor wife. Doesn't seem like he did. But anyway, Lalo is back. He's on the hunt and I'm here for it. I think, you know, I'm very excited for the finale of this season. I'm really into it. I'm super into it. My prediction is that Lalo is going to engage in some sort of combat and Howard or Kim or both are going to get killed or are going to like try to run away or something. I'm going to assume that they're going to get killed. I mean, like, where the fuck are they in Breaking Bad, right? Like, something's got to happen. But I'm into it. I was loving this ep last night. Very intense, especially, you know, when you're on drugs and you're watching this shit and Lalo's fucking running around in this wife's apartment with a gun. I'm thinking, oh, don't kill her, but he didn't do it. Spoiler alert. What else is in this ep? This is a good ep. It's a really good ep, you know? I'm into it. Next week is going to be even better. I don't know what the schedule is. I know they're doing a break in the middle of the season. I don't know when that's happening. I forget. I hope it's not next week. But anyway, you gotta, if you're not watching this show, I mean, like, you gotta go fuck yourself. I mean, like, honestly, if you're not watching Better Call Saul right now, you really deserve to fuck yourself. Anyway, another masterpiece. Goddamn Vince does it again. That motherfucker. To fuck someone up means to fight someone. Fight them and then win? I mean, I guess you don't need to win to fuck someone up, but like, you know, fight them and then do significant damage. All right, y'all. How are we doing today? Oh, god damn it. It's true. It's true. I've sacrificed many at the table. At the altar, no less. Well, that's the day. I mean, that's the show. That's what I got today. Be sure to watch my Yu-Gi-Oh! Eternal Duelist Soul speedrun if you'd like. That's in 20 minutes. If you want. Right? I don't know. The altar of sacrifice. There you go. But that's the program. That's all I got. I mean, I guess I could do more, but I'm choosing not to. I could. But I won't. Let's finish this coffee. I'll definitely watch Chernobyl at some point, Bodan, for sure. It's on my list. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. I will see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, Cooking with the Bitch. Doom stream. Tomorrow's going to be great. So check it out. That's all I got. Bye-bye!
I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. You're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it, and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
That will enhance our underlying, the guys who are the kleptocracies. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts.